and girls, it's Know It Time! Know It Time!
Alright, so today I want to start with the factor theorem. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. Here we go. Calm down, Everett. Now, I want to start with some easy stuff. Okay? Easy. Is back in grade 6, your teacher taught you something called this. Is 2 a factor of 4? Okay, very simple question in grade 6. We go back to school. I always like to go back and relate grade 6 stuff to how it relates to grade 12. Everything is connected. And let's start the day with Gary. Is 2 a factor of 4? Yes. Very simple question. The answer is yes. Okay. Next one. Is 5 a factor of 55? Anesh. Yes. Okay. Is 7 a factor of 30? Sukman. No. The question is, how do you know if something is a factor versus something is not? I'm going to pause it, let you guys debate. Here we go. Pawan, how do you know if something's a factor? Sorry? So if it divides into that, so if I give you this, 7 divides into 30. I need more specifics. A whole number. 7 divides in 30 gives you 4. There's a whole number. I need more specifics. Danish. Ah, that's what I'm looking for. Write this down. If something is a factor, the remainder must be 0. There is no exceptions to that rule whatsoever. Okay? It has to be 0. I'm going to take that one simple concept and apply it to grade 12. This is how I'm going to apply this to grade 12. The question is this. Now, before I apply this to grade 12, I'm going to ask you to do a few things. Factor. 3x squared plus 9. Very simple question. Factor. Carleen, how would you factor this out? Well, where would you go? Divya, how would you factor this out? Yep. Oh, 3. You have a good Math 11 teacher, Divya. Whoever that teacher is, he's amazing. Plus? Plus what? 3. Okay. I know 3 is a factor of this because that's what I get. Okay, the remainder is 0. Question? No. Different square has to be a minus. And this can't be anything. Next thing, factor. So all we're going to do is play around with factoring. 2x squared minus 7 plus 5x. I'm going to pause it. Almost done? Okay. 2x plus 7 x minus 1. That works. Okay. See, this is easy. Bit more challenging this time. Factor. No, I should say this. Let's look at this one. Is x minus 1 a factor of x cubed minus 3x squared minus x plus 3? So I'm going to ask you this question. Is this a factor of this? Without any hints? Or yes or no? How do you know it's a factor, Vicky? Oh, please. See, you use the remainder theorem. That works. You punch in 1. You go 1 cubed minus 3 times 1 squared minus 1 plus 3. What's your remainder, Vicky? 0. See, the whole idea behind this factor theorem is this. If something is a factor, remainder has to be 0. It's a very simple concept, and someone actually became famous for that. Try this one. I'm going to ask you factor completely. Good luck. You know how to factor x squares, but the question is, how do you factor x cubed minus 3x squared minus x plus 3? In grade 10, we taught you how to factor x squares. In grade 12, I'm going to show you how to factor x cubes. Here is the fun part. Okay. To factor x cubes, it's going to be a game. I'm going to write a few things down. To factor x cubes, to factor cubic equations, you need to find one number that will give you 0. Okay? Because it gives you 0, that's called the remainder. That will give you 0. You 0. You found one number that gave you 0 right there. The number was a 1 right here because we did it x minus 1. So here's what we're going to do. So if we're going to say x minus 1 is a factor from what we did before. This is going to be a game of guessing and testing. Some of you will find it quick. Some of you will take a long, long time to do this. So here's what you're going to do next. We're going to use synthetic division. We know x minus 1 is a factor, so I want you to go ahead, use synthetic, and tell me what the quotient is going to be. So this is going to be 1, negative 3, negative 1, 3. I'm going to do this. If I use synthetic division, I have 1, 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 3, 0. So we're going to write this out as a polynomial. So here's what you have so far. I have x squared minus 2x minus 3. That's one of the quotients set. My other factor was, remember, x minus 1. If 1 works, it's the reverse. The question is, can you factor any more? If you can, factor. I'll give you a hint, you can factor one more. Factor it. And Amit, what did you have for this one? You factor x minus 3, x plus 1, and x minus 1. Here is equal to, these are your factors. Are your factors. So when I ask you to factor a cubic equation, you actually have to do the blind game and see one number that will give you 0. Here's where you try this on your own. Good luck. Let's see who can find the first number that will give you 0. 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 4x plus 3. I'm going to ask you to do two things. One, okay, I'm going to break up slowly. Find one factor first. That's all you're going to do. See, before I asked you, is this a factor? But now, you find out one number of x that will give you 0. 2. Factor fully. Let the games begin. Let's see who. So if you're lost, I'm going to try a random number. I'm going to try 1 for fun. I go 2, 1 cubed minus 5 times 1 squared minus 4 plus 3. I tried random numbers. I know it didn't work. So there's always more than one answer. Because when I plug this in, it doesn't work. Give you -4, it doesn't work. So, but if I do -1 cubed minus 5 times -1 squared minus 4 times -1 plus 3, that gives you 0. Okay? So right off the bat, I know -1 works. The moment that works, you can write this down star. X, look how I'm going to write this, plus 1 is a factor. See, I didn't say x minus 1. Everything is reversed. Now, go ahead and apply synthetic division. -1, you have 2, -5, -4, 3. And if you did it right, you should have 2, -2, -7, 7, 3, and 0. So now I'm going to write it out as x squared minus 7, wait, 2x squared plus 3, and this is going to be x plus 1. I'm not done yet. I'm going to pause it. So you have x minus 3, 2x plus 1, oh, minus 1. That, and don't forget to write down your original one too, x plus 1. Okay. This means this, if you plug in 3 into here, it will also give you 0. If you plug in 1/2 into here, it will also give you 0. Now the question is, Mr. No, that's a lot of work, because what if I sit here and I try 10 numbers and I still can't find it? There has to be another method of doing this to make it easier. There is a method to make it easier. But I'm not gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna see who can figure out the trick to doing it. I'll give you a hint. Let's go back to this one. I'm gonna give you a question, and it's a factor fully. Without any hint for me, I want to see. I'm going to show you what I'll give you. X cubed minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6. I can sit here and try random numbers. 1, -1, 2, -2. Keep going all the way. But it would take me about 5 minutes if the number was big. So there has to be a shortcut to finding the right numbers right away. I'm going to give you a hint. Without me teaching how to do it, I'll give you a hint. You can do this in your TI-83 calculator. Think about how you want to do this in your TI-83 calculator. I'll give you 5. So I walked around, and most of you graphed this on your TI-83, which I'm going to do the exact same thing. I go window, make sure my window is fine. I'll clear all this stuff up. And let's do this. This will be x cubed minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6. Hit graph. And hey, looks like an N. Exactly what I predicted. Now, if you want, you can zoom in just a bit to see. Oh yeah, you could. You can click table. Where's the table button? Second function graph. I want to know when it hits 0. Well, it hits 0 right here. Only time it hits 0 is when x equals to 1, x equals to 2, x equals to 3. Use synthetic division right now. You actually know the answer already if you think about it. What's the answer? If you factor this completely. X minus 1, x minus 2, x minus 3. But I'm going to pretend I'm going to ask you to still show work. So use any one of those right now and use synthetic division. Any one of them will work. I'm going to go use 1. I know the answer already using technology. But now, an exam, I'm going to ask you to show work still. So this is going to be 1, -6, 11, -6. and go ahead, solve it. Okay, exact same thing. So we have 1, 1, negative 5, negative 5, 6, 6, 0. So this gives me x squared minus 5x plus 6. My other one was x minus 1. See, and if I look at it, I can use synthetic. It will give me the exact same thing. So this is going to be x minus 2, x minus 3, x minus 1. That is how you factor cubic functions. Okay? It's all combinations in synthetic and remainder theorem. And factor fully, factor fully. I'm going to give you one last one for you to try. I can't do it because now you know the trick to it. It makes it too easy. If you had known the trick how to do it, I should have done the supernode first. Factor fully. X4 plus 4x cubed minus 7x squared minus 34x. I want you to show this using synthetic division. You can use your TI-83 for one answer only, but the rest of it has to be shown using work. Get crack-lacking. Go. Hi. So here we go. Devesh, what's one number that will give you 0 right off the bat? You use TI-83. 3? So use 3. So this is 1, 4, negative 7, negative 34, negative 24. If you did not have a TI-83, you would be sitting here trying 1, negative 1, 2, negative 2, 3, negative 3, until you find one that works. So this is going to be 1, 3, 7, negative 21, negative 28. Oh, sorry, that should be 21. Oh. Whoa, slow down. Amrit, all your fault. Amrit, why are you giving me the wrong answers, Amrit? 21. This is going to be positive 14. 3 times 14 is 42. This is going to be 8. Whoa, 65, please. 24. Gives me 0. Now, before I move on, I'm going to write down what I have so far. See, notice I'm going to write this down. X minus 3 is a factor. That's my original one. Then, I'm going to write in this one. X cubed plus 7x squared plus 14x plus 8. Now, some of you got to here, and you're stuck. To factor this, we start the process all over again. Pretend you don't know. Grab your TI-83, graph this. You're going to find one number. Tanvir, did you find one number that gives you 0 yet? Your graphing does work. I'm going to pause it, and let's just see if... So let's just graph this right now. Negative 2? Okay, I don't know if you're right or wrong yet. So, Tanvir, did you have this equation? Okay, so I'm going to graph it with you, see where you went wrong. X cubed plus 7x squared plus 14x plus 8. Hit graph. Oh, what the heck is that? So let's change my windows a bit. Okay. There we go. So Tanvir, did you have that picture? Did you have it? Okay, I'm going to pause it. What was one number that works that gives you 0? X equals negative 2. So we know, I'm going to use synthetic again. Okay, this is a game of synthetic. So this becomes 1, 7, 14, 8. and I process the whole thing over again. So this is 1, negative 2, 5, negative 10, 4, negative 8, 0. Before I start, I'm going to write down what I have. Here's my original, x minus 3. Here's my new one, x plus 2. Now, I have x squared plus 5x plus 4. Once it's a quadratic, you can factor again. X minus 3, x plus 2, x plus 1, and finally x plus 4. These, and again, look what I did to get this, are your factors. Question? Nope. You get the exact same thing. These are your factors. So now, you can factor, it doesn't matter what power it is. In grade 10, you were only taught how to factor quadratics. Now you can factor any level you like. And this is why you need to know the factor theorem. I'm going to pause it. Actually, I'm going to assign you some work after lunch. Here's your work after lunch. Pause. I'm going to give you time after lunch to practice this. So 1:33. No, tomorrow's our review. Numero 2. After lunch, I'm going to give you about half an hour to practice. I'm going to show you why you need to know the factor theorem. I'm going to show you applications. 2, 9. Whoa, 7 questions. Get crack-a-lackin'. And that will end.